on the planet. Keep it fast, standing, standing, standing. Red alert, red alert, red alert, yeah. Got the dirt on my soul, no grass standing. No mask, not even if it's old dark 30. Split street made, even dirt roads, highway 30. 50, 40, 90, that'll get you 30. That's a clean sweep. Even
Welcome to
when we
Red Alert
getting
Houston
dirty,
Rocket
I
Zone.
ain't got no
I'm Hope
gay
Champion.
caps.
Thanks for
Stay
watching.
together
Like,
till my
subscribe,
soul
and drop
in
Clutch
crippled
City
pain.
in the comments.
Watch me hack my nature
And
from
lock
the
in to
sun.
hear Daily Rockets talk.
All right. Hey, you better know what you heard, man. This ain't just hype. This Red Alert, uncut, unfiltered, and it's time to sound the alarm. I'm your host, C.F. Hutton, and we finna get on one of these things, man. Let's go ahead and get straight to it. In about 2 hours, the Rockets are set to face off against the Utah Jazz. And for Rockets fans, we understand what this means. We understand the dynamics of this game, particularly Utah is about as hated in Rockets Nation as most people feel about the Golden State Warriors. I mean, honestly, you can't hate Golden State as much as you hate Utah if you're a real Rockets fan. You know, John Stockton, Karl Malone, you know, the Vernon Maxwell onslaught against the Utah fans and just the whole aura of what Utah represents. It's just bitter taste in my mouth. So this game has a different connotation to me personally, and I'm excited for the game. I do think there are some underlying issues as it pertains to this particular game that we're gonna get right into. And it's gonna start with, excuse me, my chair a little squeaky right now. I need to put some WD-40 on that thing. But I think the youth of the Utah Jazz could be a problem for us today. Um, the youth of the Utah Jazz could be a problem for us today because they have a lot of young, hungry players, and they have a lot of talent that could go under the radar. You remember they had a exceptional draft this year to go to pair with guys like Larry Markkinen and Walker Kessler, whatever his name is. You know, Filipowski, whoever the guys they got over there. They got a ton of guys over there in Utah, and um, what's his name? The young boy that didn't want to go over there. You know, he out there. So 600 point guard or whatever he is. You know, so they got some actual talent out there that's gonna be looking to make a name for themselves. And what better place to make a name for yourself than playing against up and coming stars like Reed Shepard and Amin Thompson? One of the biggest plays last night to me was the hard foul that Amin took on Easy Money that was trying to get the layup, and you know Amin was making a play on the ball, and the dude initiated the contact and knocked down Amin, and that's something that I think Amin is going to take with him for the rest of the year. So plays like that set the tempo for the for how we're going to be looked at and looking at things going forward. I think you know when you're known as a physical player and you have that kind of collision with somebody and you come out on the bottom end of that, that sticks with you. And I don't plan on seeing nobody knock Amin down while he's trying to take the foul or making the play on the ball and giving contact right there, Paul. Um, so let's be real. These young guys gonna come out and play tonight. But before we get too far into the things we think about tonight and what we expect to see from the Rockets, let's do let's look at some highlights from let's look at some highlights from Monday night. We got to see a well-rounded game from our Houston Rockets. We got to see some of our favorites make big plays. You know, we got to see some of our potential guys make plays and show things that we haven't seen, things that we hope to see in the future. So there is a dynamic of, you know, anticipation with the things that we saw from them coming from last night carrying over to tonight. This was a big play because Bari was showing something that we all know that he has, but he was showing something that we have to see from him, you know, every night, which is, you know, I believe I got this and I'm gonna make it be known of who I am. Like I'm putting my mark on the league this year. And that's what we all expect. We got, you know, the contributions by guys like Clint Capella and JD Davison was just an addition to what we already expected to see from our guys. And this was something that, you know, this was something that I had in the mini doc that most people always say Jabari doesn't do or he needs to learn how to do. And I think that's just something that's under oversold because he's shown that he can do this since high school and college. He's been, you know, always been able to bring the ball up. You know, I mean, not when they full court pressing or whatever, but you know, just in transition to bring the ball up, and if you don't cut him off, he can get to the rim and he can elevate over your guy. Obviously, Shangoon was a force throughout the game. You know, passing the ball, creating from the perimeter. You know, just being a Viking, just being a terror on the defense and putting pressure on the defense all game long. So none of those things really none of those things really came as a shock to me. You know, just like that. You know, Clint Capella's ability to get above the rim didn't come as a shock to me, but it was good to see that, you know, a guy that was not highly valued in Atlanta got to come back and do that against Atlanta. You know, day one of his stint as a return prodigal. Well, you can't say prodigal because he didn't waste his time in the Rockets. He wasted his time in Atlanta. You know, but he made his money. So just as a return Rocket, um, Clint Capella did get to show some of what made him valuable for the most of his career. It was hot to see that. LP pushing the ball. Now a lot of people have been speaking about LP, um, you know, his ability to be air quote hub and whatnot. You know, I just think that's the way the game is played now. But he is a great ball handler and his his um his stamina and endurance is going to play a large role in how he plays this year. Because if you remember, his biggest problem early in his career was his fatigue. It was just being tired too much. And you know, now we see that he's getting that under control, learning how to fight through, and picking up his defense and things like that. So you know, we're going to see LP a lot with the ball. I don't think it's a matter of calling him a. I mean, I would call him a point center. You know, he is what he is. I just like to see him when he got the ball on the perimeter because I know what's coming next. You have to switch off on him. You know, he's able to pass the ball and then get a switch to a smaller man, and he's just gonna bully that man all game long. But as far as you know, things like this with Armin getting the ball poked loose and having trouble getting past guys, you know, we'll see how that plays out because if he continues to do that, you know, then guys are going to have to play him differently. They're going to have to try to play him to prepare for the jump shot, and that's going to keep them from poking at the ball so much. And it'll allow him to just choose right off the back, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and go past you. And when he has the mind frame of I'm just gonna blow past you right off the gate, when he thinks like that, like, look, I'm just blowing past you right out the gate, then you don't even have a chance to poke the ball out. The only way you poke the ball out is when he slows down and try to orchestrate. But I don't think it's gonna be a lot of that kind of, you know, kind of playing around with the ball. Tari off the dribble Tari off the dribble, well, we know how we feel about Tari Eason over here. We don't have to reiterate that too much. Um, and these at these points in the game, Atlanta Hawk was really just trying to make a comeback. Atlanta Hawk was really playing to, try to show what they can do, and they was really trying to make a comeback. They was playing hard basketball, but this lineup was just too crazy for them. You know, this lineup right here, when they start putting Jeff Green in the game, it was just too crazy. You got too much speed on the floor with the little guys, and with JD Davison coming in and Aaron Holiday. It's just a little too much speed for you out there. And they just kept the speed going and kept the tempo up. And, you know, that was pretty much all she wrote from there. So I don't I'm anxious to see how it pans out tonight against Utah, because we're going to find out that Utah's going to try to do a lot of running. They're going to run. Utah's going to run, and they're going to run nonstop. And we're going to have to be prepared to run nonstop with those guys. So, with that being said, you know, um, tell me what you think. Tell me what you think about last night game. Monday night game. If you saw anything that we didn't touch base on, or if you think I'm missing something about um the the ease at which we played, because 122 points is nothing to sneeze at. Everybody got busy. Nobody really had a bad game at all. Everybody played good. Um, it was some guys who could have did a little bit more. I would have liked to see a little bit more from some of our bench guys, but everybody played their role. And so, tell me if I missed something. Tell me if it's something that I'm not I didn't take away from the game, something that I should have taken away from the game. And obviously people talked highly of JD Davison. That's a foregone conclusion that he played well and that he's making a name for himself right here before our eyes. Um, if you notice, I mentioned, I think it was on, I can't remember exactly what stream it was, but I mentioned that the Rockets probably could, find a guy in the G League that had some size and that could play defense. And JD Davison seems to be that guy. If he can continue to be intentional about how he shoots the ball, and not just feel like, oh, I'm a shooter, I'm hot, I can shoot the ball however I want to. If he continues to be intentional about how he shoots the ball, I really think he can make himself carve out himself a path to be on this team long term. Mind you, that with that being said, him carving out himself a path to be on this team is going to be contingent on a couple of things. And one of those things we're going to talk about in just a minute. So if you're here, stay tuned. You know, put a thumbs up in the comment, and I'm going to bring to you something that I feel like is a topic that we've kind of hinted on, we've kind of discussed. I didn't get into it a lot. There go goggles LeBron. There go goggles LeBron. Bronny James. I mean, not Bronny James. Bryce James. that's that's Bryce James' little brother out there. But it was a good game. The Rockets came out 122 to 113 or something like that, 111 or something crazy. We just pretty much put a smack down on them. Now, that being said, JD Davison staying on this team is really going to be impacted heavily by whether or not um, we're able to get another guard. And getting another guard could depend heavily on whether or not um, Kevin Durant wants to play with Russell Westbrook or not. And here's the facts. Here's the facts. Russell Westbrook could very easily be considered the most underrated point guard of all time. Russell Westbrook could very easily be the most underrated point guard of all time. And the NBA is a brotherhood. No matter what you think, no matter what kind of feelings you think guys have about each other, they might have some little spats, get, little friction with one another at times. But overall, when they look back and they feel like a guy's being mistreated, they're gonna, you know, galvanize around that guy and they're gonna come to some kind of conclusion to where they feel like they need to come to support of each other. And I think that's what I see happening with Russell Westbrook. And I think that it's starting to look like the best path for Russell Westbrook to have a fair shot at his legacy being what it should be is in Houston Rockets red alongside the guy who he came in with. Because if he doesn't get on a team that's a contender this year, he's just going to be in the same situation that he's been in the past. And the other teams he was in was contenders, but it was always so dependent upon whether or not he was able to do exactly what they needed someone to do. Russell Westbrook has been in this situation since KD left. Russell Westbrook, well, since his MVP years, Russell Westbrook has been in a situation to where he has had to do whatever a guy. I mean, he's basically had to do whatever the team needed to be done in order for them to win. I mean, like, well, everybody has to do that. No, that's not necessarily the case. Some guys you build around and you build your team around the way they play. Russell Westbrook has changed what he had to do in order for the team to win almost every single year since KD left. Since KD left, he came out and when KD left, he came out and he averaged 30 something points and 10 assists or whatever, and you know, 10, 11 rebounds or some numbers. And then he did that for 2 years. And then when they got Paul George, he dropped his points down and his assists went up and his efficiency went up and his ball usage went down. And then when Paul George left, he had to go back up. And then they brought in um, so and so. And I mean, then he came to Houston and then he had to be, you know, 25 and 10, 25 and 10 over here, with low efficiency and playing around the rim, not even really dribbling the ball, like catching the ball in the post and making passes out the post. And then when he goes to um LA and they want to make him a catch and shooter, you know, um, and then he goes back to LA and they send him to the Wizards and he plays great in Washington and then he comes. I mean, Russell Westbrook has been a journeyman of no proportion and he has played to the tune of whatever it took to win since the moment Kevin Durant left. And it would it wouldn't be bad to see Kevin Durant reunite. Not that I feel like we need Russell Westbrook, but I'm also like, you know, is it gonna hurt us to have him? Right now, is it gonna hurt us to have Russell Westbrook? Well, he's gonna take time from somebody. Who? Who is he gonna take time from? Reed Shepard, JD Davidson? Well, he might stop us from winning. Do you think we're gonna really win anyway? I think we can win, but what's the possibility that we really gonna win a championship? We're not the best, we could be the best team, but it's not like we automatically set to win, you know, the championship this year. So bringing in Russell Westbrook wouldn't necessarily be the worst thing, especially when you look at the fact that, you know, the legacy of the man himself, the legacy of the legend of Russell Westbrook could be at stake. And the legacy of Russell Westbrook could hinge on Houston Rockets, Red, and Clutch City love. Just Just Clutch City's love for basketball could be the thing that changes how people remember Russell Westbrook. Do you want to be on the right side of history at some point? I mean, some of us sometimes, we overblow the fan thing. We overblow the fan thing, and we so wrapped up in the team and winning and getting that little dopamine boost by a shot, or you know, making sure that you're drinking your beers, you don't fall asleep, or whatever the case may be. You got your little barbecue going, you drink your beer, the game get boring, and you can fall asleep. But at the end of the day, to be a fan of Houston to me also means what's the legacy of the team. You know, being able to revive a person's whole entire legacy in the way that they remember, being able to change the history of the game of basketball because that's the kind of power Houston has. To me, it's part of what it means to be a Houston Rocket. Um, exact point. The exact point. Clyde Drexler was a great shooting guard, and I would submit to you that he was probably a better shooting guard in Portland than he was in Houston. But by him coming to Houston, we cemented Clyde Drexler's legacy by bringing him to Houston, pairing him with his old teammate, and allowing him to get a championship, right? And allowing him to get a championship. Maybe we can do the same thing for Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. If that's the case, if we have the power to do what we did for Clyde Drexler for Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. You know, don't mind the munchkins. If you can hear the munchkins, don't mind the munchkins. Um, but I'm all for it. Now, do I draw the line at bringing back James Harden? Because I know that's the obvious next question. If you're thinking like, okay, well, we bring back Russell Westbrook and then we bring back James Harden and we have the whole team back together again. You know, we got Steven Adams, James Harden, Russell Westbrook all back on the team together. Do we do that? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But I can't say I'm totally against it at this point because I feel like our team is so built out. Here's the thing. First of all, we know James Harden gets a F ton of money. But, you know, let's say we're not able to get another guard, but we can move Fred Van Vliet and get a James Harden. Let's say Giannis decides, I'm not going to Houston. I only want to go to New York. He's off the trade blocks. We know that Raphael Stone said he does good business with the guys over in Milwaukee. But let's say Giannis, I don't want to go to Houston, whatever. And the opportunity comes for us to trade Fred Van Vliet to get James Harden. We already have Russell Westbrook on the team. Do you pull the trigger and trade Fred Van Vliet and somebody to get James Harden and bring them all back and pair them together with the defensive team that we have? I'm not against it. I'm not against it. Now, mind you, I was against bringing James Harden back. I was always for playing. I always was like I'd rather have Fred Van Vliet than James Harden. But if you got Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant might be recruiting Russell Westbrook, he could be recruiting James Harden. They could have a reunion, and the story of Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden getting together and winning a championship together, beating OKC, and showing the kind of team that they could have had if that team wouldn't have shortchanged James Harden for $4 million. They wouldn't have shortchanged James Harden for $4 million, and they come here and they win. Oh, that would be amazing. That would be amazing for the history of the game. It would be as iconic a story, I think, that has ever been written in NBA history. I think honestly, because when you think about what happened with Akeem Olajuwon and Clyde Drexler, the Rockets drafted Olajuwon. They had a chance to get Jordan. They could have paired together Jordan and Clyde Drexler and Elijah Warren, or some craziness like that. They could have had the craziest team in history, and they don't do it. And later, Clyde Drexler ended up coming to Houston and winning the championship with his Five Slammer Jammer partner. It would almost be as good as that. And I don't know, like if you think about full circle hero's journey type stories, Uh, that Clyde Drexler story kind of sticks out to me. I can't think of many other stories, you know, like um, who else? Let me tell me anybody else that you think that was like come full circle to get to the top, get to the mountaintop. You go full circle through your career, and you come back all the way around the world, and then you get to the mountaintop with a certain team or with a certain player that you probably could have won with anyway. You know, you know. So this story would be similar to that, and I don't have a. It's not like I'm saying, oh man, I really want to get Russell Westbrook. I think he's the key to what we need to win because we need a point guard. I don't feel like we need a point guard to win. But I don't feel like it would hurt to have a guy that'll do whatever it takes to win, that's gonna play his heart out, that, you know, to be honest, he kept Denver in a lot of those games. And I mean, I know because I was watching very close and I was betting on Russ. I was betting on Russ to do certain things and he was doing it. When you say is Russ gonna have 14 points or 19 points this game, you could almost bet it. You know what I mean? Coming off the bench, he gonna have 15, 16 points coming off the bench. You can bet it. When you can bet it that he's gonna come in and spark that energy, it's not nothing to sneeze at. And even with the addition of James Harden coming back, which I know is a reach, but just in the pie in the sky kind of situation, to say that to have Clint Capella reunite with James Harden, that that chemistry back together, you know, maybe maybe James Harden starting at the point guard position. James Harden and Amin Thompson starting. You know what I mean? And the defense is there, so you don't have to worry about whether James Harden don't play no defense. But hey, our defense is solid. Our defense is solid. And we got guys who gonna be there every night. And if a guy go down, we got another guy that can step right into his spot. So it ain't like what he's dealing with over there um in LA. And with the trouble that they having in LA with guys getting paid under the table and, you know, Fortune 500 companies and whatnot, you never know how things play out over there. So I'm just saying that that's something that can happen. Um, it's really something that can happen. So with that being said, tell me what you think about that. Tell me what you think about the whole, what you call it, reunion, the whole OKC reunion, getting to the mountaintop and then having the battle OKC in the Western Conference Final. What kind of storyline would that be in real life? That would be an amazing storyline if that was to happen. If we was to get James Harden by the trade deadline for Fred VanVleet. And at this point, let me tell you something. At this point, I don't want to hear shit about Fred VanVleet being a leader because Fred VanVleet being a leader has nothing to do with the fact that James Harden is one of the best players of all time. I mean, it has nothing to do with the fact that Russell Westbrook is. I mean, where do you rank Russell Westbrook in all-time point guards? Where do you have Russell Westbrook ranked in all-time point guards? That's a serious question. You know, can you tell me for sure that Russell Westbrook isn't a top? I mean, he got to be top 10. He just has to be top 10. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and go down the line, but he got to be top 10 and probably closer up towards the five. Probably up towards closer towards five. So anyway, I'm not gonna dwell on that too long, but it is, we are getting rounding into season form. So, if you know me, we're gonna do some trade talks all year long. We're gonna have hypotheticals, we're gonna have pie in the sky, we're gonna have, you know, just whatever, what I'm saying. I'm really ready to get into the trade talks anyway because it's looking like that's gonna be an ongoing theme throughout this year with the Giannis situation. Um, and if guys are gonna sit here and talk about, JD Davison and how good he is, and not talk about that we could use him as trade bait, then hey, let's talk because what I mean, let's keep it a bean. Now, with that being said, let's do talk about JD Davison. Let's do talk about JD Davison. JD Davison Tell me what you think about JD Davidson. Drop it in the comment section. Drop it in the chat section when you pull up. Um, do you think he's right now outplaying Reed Shepard? Do you think JD Davidson it could be a better option for us at point guard than Reed Shepard as a starter? Now, I mean, obviously, we're probably not going to start either one of them, but let's just say that the Rockets had decided, hey, we want to start an actual legitimate point guard. Do you think that if you you know side by side, you just put them side by side, do you feel like the Rockets could lean more towards starting JD Davidson than Reed Shepard? And if they did, what would that say about Reed Shepard? And you know, how would you play that? Would you be willing to move off of Reed Shepard, move him to somebody who like a Utah or like a Boston? If you get my drift, I mean, it doesn't seem like it from all indications. The Rockets are um highly interested in keeping Reed Shepard, and they really feel like he's the guy that they can build around if they can keep him on the roster, and that he's going to be here. And they impressed by the way he played, this, that, and the third. I'm just asking the question. You know, if JD Davidson outplays Reed Shepard, do you keep Reed Shepard just because of the stuff that I talked about last night? You know, that's a real question. That's a real question. Let's look at so we in it for about 30 minutes. We can start pulling up some of these stats and start looking at what we're going to um we can start looking at some of what we're going to be looking at tonight. Okay. Oh, um pull up the stat line. You know, what's there's the 7th. Okay. We played Utah on the 7th last year, which is crazy. We playing them on the 8th today. So it's like almost like keeping with the same kind of momentum. Did they play Monday? Last year, Armin Thompson had 13 points. He had 2 steals, an assist, 3 rebounds, shot 100% for free throws. Didn't shoot no threes. He shot 75% field goals last year. Jabari um, shot 1 3-pointer, made 0, had 5 rebounds, 1 assist, and 7 points. LP had 17 points. I mean, you know, that's consistent throughout the last couple of playoffs. Al Pachenko has averaged just around what he averaged for the season. Like it don't waver too much. What did Reed Shepard do last year? Reed Shepard. So Reed had 4 points, 2 blocks and a steal, 3 assists, 3 rebounds, and he attempted 4 threes and made 0. Hey, now I'm gonna tell y'all this. Let me tell y'all this. I'm not gonna be too tough on IRS, man. I'm not gonna be too tough on the tax man. But Cocaine Curry got to get his shit together. Cocaine Carey got to get his stuff together, man. At some point, I mean, we've seen players come in the league and not shoot well for year one, and then become better shooters in year two. You know, we've seen all that. So I'm not really tripping on that. But it's year two, bro. You have got to get your shot together. Your defense wasn't bad. We were saying that all last year. Your defense not bad. Your playmaking not bad. The only thing we're seeing is that you're not confident in your shot. And I could almost say that him not being confident in his shot started early in the preseason where he was just missing shots. He was just missing shots in preseason where he came out and thought that because summer league he had a good showing, and then preseason started and he didn't do well, and then by the time the season rolled around, it was like he was almost trigger, trigger shy, and he didn't put up like he was supposed to put up, and we can't have that this year. You just got to make your shot, bro. You just got to focus on your shots. If if all this fails, bro, if all this fails, just go to a guy and be like, hey man, look, I need a set shot, bro. I don't need to be doing no bunch of moves. I just need you to get me the ball when the double team draw. I just need you to get me the ball so I can just see the ball go through the hoop. I'm gonna need this. Do this for me, man. Just do this, do this for me, bro. Get me the ball when my feet is where they supposed to be, and let me make 1 3. It's gonna take us the whole. It's gonna carry us throughout the whole year if I can make a couple shots this game. And it's the truth. It's the flat out truth. If Reed Shepard can make a couple shots this game and start to build his confidence tonight, it's going to carry us all year long. If he has a bad game tonight, it could carry us all year long, and it could carry him the rest of his career. Now, I don't see him having a bad game, but there's always that possibility. You know, we could get a Jay Sean Tate sighting. Jay Sean Tate well rounded. He always well rounded. So let's look over at. I want to look at what Utah did. Utah Jazz 2025 preseason schedule. Today, today is their first game. No, it can't be. So it's today the Utah Jazz's first game. Oh my days, can't be. It don't make no daggone sense. Why would they just not be playing? Oh man, oh man. Let's see standings, players, games. I'm not seeing. I'm not seeing another game. So tonight could be the Jazz will open preseason Wednesday night. So tonight is their first game. So they don't have no stats to look at. But let's go look and see what they did last year. But here's the thing: Walker Kessler could be on the trade block, and if Walker Kessler is on the trade block, he could come out on the scorcher. He could come out on the scorcher. You know who's their roster? Let's see who their roster is. Um, the Jazz, Isaiah Collier, Kyle Anderson, Keontae George, Elijah Harkless, Laurie Markkinen, Kyle Filipowski, Matthew Morrow, Kevin Love, Walker Kessler, Oscar Shihibi, Svili Malahi, Mike Haluk, Svi Mikhailiuk, Mo Bamba, Yukov Nurkic, Steve Crow, Walter Clayton Jr., Ace Bailey, 6'9" small forward. So these are two rookies. It's Bryce Sensabaugh, small forward. John Tonje, Cody Williams, 6'8" shooting guard. Gorjay Yang, Tyler Hendricks. So, you know, these guys going to be ready to play tonight. Ace Bailey, Walker Clayton, John Tonje, Stephen Crowell, 7 foot, Bryce Sensabaugh, Cody Williams, Tyler Hendricks. I mean, they have a young team, bro. Kyle Filipowski is only 22, and we know that Kyle Filipowski is a baller. Laurie Markkinen is 28. Isaiah Collier, 21, 6'4" point guard. $195 million star forward. Let's see if I can share my screen over here. We can look at some of these. Let me share my screen for you. Let me share my screen for you. Um, Hawks full game, Jazz shirt. Here we go. Okay. So Utah Jazz faced one burning question before the season about Ace Bailey. That's 4 hours ago. Let's look and see if anything about Ace Bailey. Then we'll look and see what the Rockets news looking like. Right around the corner, taking their fourth campaign under Coach Will Hardy, the 4-year season franchise retooling and likely season centered around the development and growth of young talent. One of the top storylines that revolve around the Utah Jazz and their outlook for this season focus on the fifth overall pick, Ace Bailey, true top talent in this year's draft that will have some big expectations coming into Utah if he pans out. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Already, Ace Bailey has been at the center of Utah Jazz's most burning question in Utah has been rebuilding. Did they find a young star? Okay. I don't know. Tell me what you think. Do you think that they found a young star in Ace Bailey? I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see. Houston Rockets news. Injury report. What we doing? Let's look at this Houston Rockets Kevin Durant story. Let's look at the Houston Rockets and Kevin Durant story if they get this stuff out of my face. Don't get this stuff out of my face so I can see the daggone story, Brody. Okay. Russell Westbrook had one of the most infamous fallouts in NBA history with his former teammate Kevin Durant after he left Oklahoma City Thunder. The two teammates for 8 years, but after one, after a blown 3-1 lead to the Golden State Warriors in the Western Conference Finals, Durant left Westbrook for the team they had just collapsed against. Both of their careers had sent them down similar paths, rapidly shifting from one team to team. But it's Westbrook who has got the short end of the stick. He is currently a free agent, while conflicting reports say that the team have no interest entirely, or former MVP is asking for too much money. There's no way he's asking for too much money. You should just come play on, you know, just come play, bro. Come play on per diem. Come play on a per diem, bro. Either way, one of the most polarizing figures in recent memory is no longer in the NBA. And surprisingly, his former teammate had some kind words to share. And this is from this story is from who is this? It's just MSN Sports headlines. So okay. So yeah, I don't know if y'all saw the thing. Kevin Durant did say, you know, Kevin Durant did say some cool stuff about Russell Westbrook, saying that what I was saying earlier, that he's a legend and he should be able to play. you know, um, what have you and whatnot. Um, I didn't share the screen. Did I share the screen? Did y'all get to see any of that? This is what the Larry Markin and stuff. I ain't worried about the Larry Markin and stuff. Um, this is what I was just reading right here with the Russell Westbrook jump offs. You know, so I don't know. I don't know. I'm not real big about dwelling on stuff like that to be honest, but I was I was impressed at because people always talk about KD and how he kind of troll or this or that. But thing about KD is when you ask him a question, you know, he's gonna give you a genuine answer, and it's not gonna be tongue in cheek, but a lot of times it's a very nonchalant answer that you either just have to take it at face value because he not really sugarcoating nothing, but then again, he not going deep into it all deep like you want him to. It's really a very surface level answer. And what he said about Russ was surface level, but it had meaning to it. So I cut for that. So with that being said, let's see how much time we got before the game kick off. We got an hour before the game, an hour and 15 minutes before the game. All right. Well, let's see. Pull up in the chat if you want to pull up in the chat, man. You can pull up and chop it up with me if you want to chop it up with me. In other words, I'm just gonna sit here and kick around some thoughts about what I feel about tonight's game. I was really trying to wait till close to 7 before I really got into what I expect to see from tonight. But since it's going like it's going, I'm gonna get into some of that right here in a minute. Now, with that being said, um, I think key takeaways from tonight. First of all, in order for the Rockets to win tonight, they're going to have to protect the ball. They're going to have to make shots down the stretch. Um, they're going to have to play defense as a team and get back in transition. Transition defense can be a problem for us tonight if we're not playing on a rope because we do have new guys and Kevin Durant's going to be out there for the first time tonight, and you know it's going to be a little bit different than what we're used to seeing from the guys that know how to play with each other as far as chemistry. So who's going to be where on defense? Who's going to be communicating? I mean, RP going to be talking, but there's no Fred there that's going to be talking. So how's the communication going to be on defense? And transition is going to be a big part of tonight's game. So the Rockets getting in transition defense tonight is going to be very important. Rebounding the basketball is going to be very important. Not that I think that's going to be a problem for us because we have great rebounders on our team. But I'll tell you this, like I said before, Kyle Filipowski and Walker Kessler together is a tandem. I mean, like real life true story. When you think about Walker Kessler, tell me what you think about. A legitimate shot blocker. A legitimate shot blocker and just a rough and rugged, you know, just a rough and rugged, big dude. You know what I mean? Like a physical big shot blocker, not really a lot of movement, but he put you in the mind of like a Rick Smith, not because he's 7'4" or nothing like that, but because of the way he plays defense is it's not a bunch of flair to his defense. He's just there. He's gonna be right there when you think like you know, when you think that he should be doing something extra, he's not doing nothing extra. He's just where he's supposed to be when he's supposed to be there. And that's gonna make a big difference in the way people play him because he will block your shot. He will block your shot and he will get physical and bang on you if you start sleeping on him. So the Rockets gonna have to be mindful of creating shots around the basket getting to the rim when they got the big dude down there. Because Kyle Filipowski is a legit 7-footer. Walker Kessler is what 7'1", 7'2". They got good defense, so the Rockets really got to be mindful of getting around the basket. Also, transition defense, like I said before, but controlling the tempo of the game. Um, I don't know if Ime's gonna push the pace tonight, or he's gonna really get into his slowing down the offense and trying to see, you know, how the offense flows now that Kevin Durant is on the floor, which is my next point. My next point is with Kevin Durant being his first game tonight, how does the offense look now that Alperen Sengun doesn't have to be the I don't want to say the main guy because he's still the main guy. But now that he doesn't have to be the release valve, he doesn't have to be the only one to take the pressure off of everybody else by himself now. How is the game gonna look now? That's gonna be important. That's gonna be important. We're looking to see how Kevin Durant fits into this team. And definitely, if they're talking about bringing in a Russell Westbrook, before we even get to bringing in a Russell Westbrook, we need to see how KD fits, right? We need to know, can this superstar fit in? And if he can fit in, if KD fits in well, now we can visit whether or not we need to be bringing in other people and this, that, and the third. But before we even get to, you know, who we're gonna try to bring in, all this and that, let's just look at it and say, hey, let's just let's just look at it and say, is KD gonna fit with the team? What is KD gonna do tonight? Well, remember I told you yesterday, in KD's first game last year, he scored 6 points. He shot the ball pretty bad. He was like 3 for 10, and he not KD not coming out trying to show nothing. He just want to come out, you know, get into the flow with the team, see how to fit in, get some good run, get some workout, get into the flow and start building the chemistry with these guys. He's not coming out to make no statement as far as what he said. Now, is that what I would like to see? Definitely not. I definitely need you to make a statement because these other guys coming out making statements. And we want to make a statement too, but that's not his mentality. We're gonna see. But if he comes out and he decides to make a statement tonight, it could be very impactful. I mean, those type of things to me mean more than what it means to some people. Obviously, more than what it means to him. Um, his quote was, "He just want to get some good run up and down the court and play some ball, and get into a rhythm." Okay, you know, how many minutes he said he's gonna play? He said he don't know how many minutes he's gonna play. I would assume, I would assume, based off of last year, that 14 minutes, around 14 minutes tonight is probably all we're gonna see of KD. If he has, if KD, if if KD scores around, what's up with the Big Taz? Shout out to Big Taz in the chat, man. Big Taz say I agree. Let me say this: if KD in 14 minutes has 10 points, cool. I mean, cool. That's cool. That just means he was efficient shooting. That's what we expect. I agree. The New York Knicks have to make a statement this year. What you think about who do the Knicks play tonight? And what do you think they have to do in the preseason? Because a lot of people think preseason is overblown. A, a lot of people think the preseason is overblown, and that you can't really take nothing from it. Do you feel like the Do you feel like that the preseason should be an opportunity to make a statement going into the year? Like Steph came out and Steph was cooking. That was my big takeaway. Is that when Steph came out and Steph was cooking, you know, it changed the dynamic of the way people started to talk about the Golden State Warriors. They automatically looked at it and said, "Hey, look, the Golden State Warriors is a contender this year, and it's highly based off of what Steph did in his first game." I can see that. I can see that. Definitely that. Definitely that. It definitely is. the preseason is definitely preparation for the season. You know, perfect preparation prevents poor performance and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Um, yeah. But one of the things that's known about Kevin Durant is he practices at full speed at his regular game speed. Like some people do walkthroughs. It's been said that KD don't do walkthroughs. He goes at a tempo. The way that he plays in the game is how he practices every day, all the time. And I think that's important. Um, you know, I, I think I think I think one of the things that the Rockets and the Knicks have in common is that we'll both be keeping our ear, um, keeping our ear to the wind and listening to see if if the Giannis thing is real or not. Because New York would have an opportunity to really get Giannis, and the Rockets would love an opportunity to get him as well because he fits our timeline as well. He would be the veteran on our team, and we need to try to win now, just like New York need to try to win. Now, as far as the sports media, the preseason is damn if you do, damn if you don't. Facts, facts, facts. Because if you do something, then they like it don't matter. If you don't do it, then they like, you know, they didn't do good, whatever. And I guess the media can kind of put more into it. Yeah. But then they'll talk about it like I'm talking about it, but then they'll say it don't matter to them. And my thing is, it matters to me because I feel like this is when you come out and make your statements. You come out because for one, your fan base has been waiting since you got put out of the playoffs, or unless you won, they've been waiting since you got put out of the playoffs to see how the moves you made, how they're gonna resonate into the season. Are you ready to play for the season? Is you ready to come to work and then you come out there and then you lollygagging around, you know, it don't really give it don't really give it, the right feel. It kind of leave a bad taste in your mouth when those guys come out and they don't really put up put on a show. When they don't really put on a show. When you got guys who come out and they playing like who were they talking about? They was talking about somebody that was playing full speed and going crazy like it was like a real game type shit. And I was like, yeah, that's what you want. That's what you want. That's what you expect, you know. And but that's the kind of player that Russell Westbrook is. Speaking of Russ, that's the kind of player that Russ is. Russ is the kind of player that that if he was playing tonight, you wouldn't have to question whether or not he was going to play hard as like it was a real game because Russ only know one way to play. He gonna play like it's a real game. He gonna play like his life is on the line, like his hair is on fire. All every time he get between 94 feet, the two parallels. To me, objectively speaking, the Rockets are the team of the future. The Rockets are very young and should not make a big trade for Giannis. That is, to be honest, I'll tell you the truth. It's so hard to disagree with that statement, but at the same time, it's like you got KD and you got an opportunity to win. And the other part of it is what constitutes a big trade? Because here's the thing about the Rockets. If we're watching the landscape of a Giannis trade and we say, well, the Knicks are going to make a move for Giannis, and then we say, well, who are they going to give up to get him? Who the hell do the Knicks have that's worth Giannis Antetokounmpo? Well, the only person y'all really have that's worth Giannis is Jalen Brunson. You could say Carl Anthony Towns, and you could say, hey, well, look, we're going to trade Carl Anthony Towns for Giannis. Okay. And then my question would be, can the Rockets put together something that matches the value of Carl Anthony Towns and still keep our core? And that's where the nuances of a trade come in at because it's hard to say whether or not we will be able to put together something that's a better value than a player like Carl Anthony Towns and still keep the core, which would be KD Alperen Sengun, Amin Thompson, and still get Giannis. Because if Giannis came available and we had to trade a Jabari Smith Jr., we might be willing to do it, right? But if we had to trade a Jabari, a Fred VanVleet, we got a shit ton of trade of draft assets. You know, we could still make a big splash because we still got our Phoenix picks. You know, and so we able to give up those picks, Fred VanVleet, Jabari. You know, bring in Fred VanVleet, Jabari. A couple of straggler pieces, Jay Tate, Jeff Green, something like that. Maybe something like that. I don't know. You can give up 4 players for one, but if we was able to give up a nice package that can reload Milwaukee with a bunch of draft assets, a Jabari Smith, maybe a player that with a expiring contract like Fred, it wouldn't hurt us to get Giannis because we would be mostly doing the draft assets for Giannis. Whereas if y'all had to do it, New York would have to give up a Karl Anthony Towns or something, you know, something of that magnitude to even get him, right? And I think if Giannis came available, they were like, well, we want Alperen Sengun for Giannis. We're not doing it. We're just not doing that. We're not trading an All Star for Giannis, um, who probably only got limited amount of time left in the league, who been hurt the last 2 years, who might not really want to be here, that could leave in a couple of years and still be gone or whatever. So I don't think the Rockets would trade um one of our budding stars for Giannis, but you know, if it came on assets, it would be worth it. Easy, no brainer to get Giannis and pair him with KD and Alperen Sengun and Amin Thompson. That's a no brainer. And our you know it but it goes to say that if Giannis comes available and he doesn't want to come to Houston, he say, hey, look, if you trade me to Houston, I'm just gonna walk as soon as I get a chance to walk, and they're just gonna lose everything. And he don't want to come here. Then obviously we're not gonna do something like that, especially if they want significant players or whatever. But now I don't know. Do y'all play today? Did New York play today? If y'all play today, what up? What up, Laro? What up, Laro? Laro in the chat. You can pull up, bro. If you want to pull up, chop it up, man. You know. He don't know. He don't know if they play. You don't know if they play today. I'll drop the link for you, Laro, if you want to pull up. They know. Okay. Thanks. Hey, tell me what you think, Laro. If Giannis came available, would you pursue Giannis? And what would you be willing to give up to get a player like Giannis? How we set to seeing as though how we set to make a splash right now and make a run. Is it worth giving up anything valuable to get Giannis or anything like that? I don't know. I mean, I would. To me, it's a no brainer. To me, it's a no brainer. I'm very easily taken, and I'm trying to. I mean, obviously, I'm trying to get over. I'm gonna try to win. I'm gonna try to get it for as little as possible. You know, but I would be willing to give up a young player or two. I would be willing to give up a young player or two for Giannis, but I'm not giving up my core guys because my whole reason for getting Giannis is to try to pair him with guys. Okay, okay. Versus the Wolves, the Knicks play tomorrow versus the Wolves. Huh. Okay, that's gonna be a good game. That's gonna be a good game. But you see, that's another thing. Like they were saying that the Wolves kind of going through the motions. Oh, that's what they were saying. They were saying like the Wolves kind of going through the motions, but the Indiana Pacers playing full speed. Indiana Pacers playing full speed. Well, they got Rick Carlisle as their coach, and the Wolves, I don't even know who their coach is, but they still got a young Anthony Edwards who, he not finna just come out there and just try to go crazy on a preseason game when he know he finna try to go crazy this year. You know, and that's kind of where I'm looking at the difference between Utah Jazz and Houston Rockets. We might have some guys who like KD say, he just want to get some good run. He might not come out and try to do the Steph Curry. He might not come out and try to, showcase and put on a big show tonight for 14 minutes and just go ham. He might come out and just play it smooth, easy money sniper. And Utah might come out with Ace Bailey and them guys, and they might be running and gunning and banging and throwing around bodies and trying to make a name for themselves. And Larry Marketing on the trade block, he might come out and go crazy. You know, Filipowski was going nuts in the summer league, so it's actually a situation to where the Rockets could find themselves on the short end of the stick this game. Um, hey, Lero, talk to me, man. What I mean, as far as the game tonight, first of all, tell me what you think about the Giannis getting traded thing. If you think Giannis is a something that you would be willing to look at and what you'd be willing to give up for Giannis, and then tell me what you think about whether or not the Rockets stand a chance to could possibly lose the game against a young up and coming Utah team.
Okay, say that second part about Utah.
What do you think the Rockets could probably lose to a young up and coming Utah team?
You mean tonight? Man, look, man, it's just preseason, man. What we need to do is think about. Let me just answer this. I don't think we'll lose the first half. Let me just say it like that. I mean, I don't think we're really looking for a win or a loss or whatnot. I mean, of course, you always want to win, but I don't really think that would be in jeopardy. I mean, we're going to get a chance to finally, Ime came out. We're going to get a chance to see I think he's starting Reed, Amin, Jabari, KD, and LP. So I don't think they can touch that lineup. I don't think they can even touch our backups really. So I guess to answer your question now, man, I don't think that's in jeopardy, but it is the preseason though, bro. So I mean, if for some reason we did lose, I mean, well, it's not gonna really matter. I'm not gonna feel some kind of way about it. I mean, maybe we need to tighten our bench up a little bit, but our bench gonna come out really solid too because we got some good bench pieces still, man. So I think we'll be all right. But as far as Giannis, man, I'm not ready to blow things up, man. I mean, it has to be something like just really out there. I mean, because you're talking about Giannis, you're talking about basically giving up a man and Jabari Smith Jr. I'm not going, bro. I'm not going. I'm not going because they're gonna want assets in return, and they're gonna want a lot of draft picks. So I'm not going for that. I don't want to see that happen. I really don't.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, if I can't keep a me and Alpha Shangoon, you know, them two players and KD is the reason I want Giannis. But by the same token, like I was just saying, for me, you know, if let's say they saying Giannis want to go to New York. Now, if Giannis want to go to New York, what would New York have to give up to get Giannis? It would be Carl Anthony Towns, almost for even swap and some trades.
I mean, yeah, but they're gonna have to give up a whole lot more than just cash. I mean, it's gonna be they salary is gonna equal out.
Right.
But I mean, but the thing is kind of like, well, what else do you really have, New York? I mean, they gonna they probably gonna want like a Bridges or something like that, or one of those pieces. I mean, that's not too much to give, and a ton of first round draft picks or whatnot.
That's
But
not a first round draft pick. See, we do.
so yeah, but. Man, let's just like Giannis said today, man, because I've been keeping my ear to the NBA streets or whatnot, right? He has, I mean, from now he wants to be there. Hey, he got the right. In 6 months from now, he can change his mind. So, I mean, that's pretty much how he put it. I mean, so if they win it, he want to stay. If he don't see like they have a future, we'll revisit that in about 6 months or so. So, I mean,
Right. That's true. That's true. 100% on that. Now with the Utah Jazz thing, I feel you about it being a preseason game, but it's like I was saying yesterday. You know, the way Steph Curry came out against the Lakers and put on a show, it shows something about the heart of a champion, about what it takes to be a consummate professional and what it takes to be a leader, because you setting the tempo for the year. He came to work day one. Like, he's not waiting till 4 days from now before he get in his bed. He came to work day one. I'm putting on a show for the fans. I'm showing what it's gonna be like all year long, and that's gonna be on people's mind every time they go into Golden State. They're gonna be thinking, "Damn, we got a
Okay,
big light skinned man."
uh, okay. Well, check this out. Yeah, check this out. Check this out. Check this out. Okay, the Utah Jazz might win 4 games this year because they trying to get that young man who went to BYU. What's his name? You know the
Right.
number one. Thompson. Somebody. I can't pronounce his name. I can't
Okay.
really just really just call his name. But he just pretty much gonna be the. But he I guess he been living in Utah or whatever, right? And he's going to BYU. So I doubt he gonna go on a mission after he leave BYU or whatever, like most of those kids do or whatever, right? But he's the one and done player, and he's probably gonna be like a Cooper Flag prospect next year or whatnot, right? He was the number one high school player last year. He's going to BYU, and Danny Ainge's gonna be on tank all year long. So I mean, the Utah Jazz not gonna cause a problem for anybody, bro. They gonna
Yeah.
probably be trying to figure out ways to lose all their games this year,
You
and
talking
that's a
about Texas?
shame. And that's a shame, but I mean, that's the fate that I see for the Utah Jazz right now this year, bro. Real tough.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, see, I ain't worried about them as far as them being a problem for us. I'm just thinking about the mindset and how other teams gonna view us. You know, if we are we building the kind of mindset to say, we go into Utah or we can just cruise because it's preseason, and preseason is kind of like warm up for the real season. Is that the mindset you want? Just like we were talking about Dylan Brooks. Dylan Brooks came into training camp you know, playing in practice with a Scully cap on. He brought that dog. He brought that dog day one of practice. He coming to the game. He playing all out. You look at Indiana how they played. They going all out. First game of the preseason. You know, if we come in and we shucking and jiving and we lose to a team like Utah because they got young phenoms out there that's coming out there to try to win, that could put a damper on a player like Reed. Let's say they guards come out and they playing hard and we kind of coasting and Reed Shepard can't get into a vibe and he have a bad game. That could follow him all season long.
Well, you know what? It is. See, now you're going a little. You read a little bit too much in the one preseason game now, right? I mean, that's my opinion. I think you're reading a little bit too much in like one preseason game. But what I will say is kind of like overall, I think I it's me personally. I don't think it matters. Like
Yeah,
we going like tonight, we gonna see our starting lineup, and that's a good thing right there. So I want, I don't see no shucking and jiving, and that's our starting lineup going into the season as far as the game goes. It's not like a real big test or whatnot, but just look at the first couple of quarters, man, and that's your test about how things are gonna actually look. So I don't think anybody's Ime Udoka is not gonna allow the team to go out there and first of all, uh, just lollygag or whatnot, right?
yeah.
That's not what kind of coach he may is. So they're gonna be on their P's and Q's. They should be. I mean, they trying to get their work in before the season starts. And I'm not sure what other two matchups or whatever matchups they have in the preseason.
I think we play the Hawks again and then we play it's down here on the bottom. We play let's see, we play the Hawks again and then somebody else. I think I had it running down there on the bottom line. I know we go back to let me check it out. Let me pull it up. Uh So we play the Hawks. We play the Hawks again. We play Detroit. That's gonna be a good game.
Yeah, I would. Yeah. So when we play Detroit for the second time, 'cause one of those games, I don't think we're gonna see Kevin Durant again. I mean, and that's cool unless KD just want to absolutely play. But I think against that Detroit team, since
Oh
that'd be the
no,
best matchup.
no, we play the Pelicans.
Oh,
We play the
the
Jazz. Then we play the Pelicans. Then we play the Hawks.
Oh, the Pelicans. All right. So I would want to see the our starting lineup against the Pelicans or whatnot. The Hawks, we pro. Man, I mean, but what I would like to see against the Hawks is to see if we can get back on defense against those fast little small players that they got or whatnot. I would like to see that. But I mean, it's just probably different things that the coaching staff gonna be looking at to try to, because I'm not buying the whole thing about we have a starter actually penciled in or whatnot. I'm not really buying that one, bro. I mean, I think Ime probably already knows who his starting five is going to be.
You think it's Cap?
Yeah, I mean, I don't, I think it's going to be Reed Shepard to probably start the season or whatnot. But man, it's probably penciled in. But man, and I know we were talking about this the other day. I would tell you something.
What's that? Talk to me quick, but don't talk to me
If,
slow.
if old boy JD show his ass again today, if I were Reed Shepard, I'd be looking over my shoulder, bro. Now, we can talk about the third pick overall and this and that and all that, but if JD come out right and he looks efficient like he did the when was that the day before yesterday, right?
Yeah.
And he comes out and he looks the same, and Reed comes out and looks like he looked, man. I'm not saying he gonna start. But I'm just saying, you know how the chirpers gonna do. We as fans or whatever, we as people that support the Rockets, we gonna be looking at it kind of funny and shaky, like, hey man, because perhaps this guy need a little run. I mean, just because you the number 3 overall pick, and they got very high hopes for you. That's not like I'm saying start over Reed, but it's a little something for Reed to look over his shoulder with, man. Because I think that boy can hoop, man.
Hey, nah, let me tell you. Now, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, Laro. I'm with you on that. I really am. I'm saying that if it's something that's saying, hey, we want a real point guard to start. Like if you just sitting back and you saying, man, we really need a real point guard to start, and I really don't feel like Amin is the best option for us at point guard. And if you're leaning Reed Shepard to start at point guard over Amin and Amin to start at the 2, the thing is that JD Davison, the way he plays, it it don't leave a lot to be, it don't leave it ain't no big mystery right now that he outplayed Reed Shepard last night. I mean Monday night. It's just not. Reed Shepard played a good game. He got to the goal. He made some good passes. He hit a 3-pointer. He did his thing. But Davison is a lot bigger. He's a lot faster. He's a lot more poised. He seems like he plays with his head on the swivel. He has just as good as court vision as Reed Shepard. And he, like I said, over and over again, he shot his shots with intentionality. He actually was very
Is
intentional.
that a word, bro?
I don't know.
You just made a
I,
word up on the fly, bro.
you know what I mean? He, he was very intentional about being focused on every single shot, whereas Reed is not always intentional about focusing on every shot. Reed has the and King always say this, that Reed is like a streaky volume shooter. And I always say he kind of got the heat check. I'm gonna heat check my first shot. Like his first shot, Reed Shepard's first shot is usually like a heat check. Like how the hell you heat checking on your first shot, bro? Make one. Shoot your regular form first, bro. You a white boy. Shoot the white boy form first. Do that like 2 or 3 times, and then come out and then you can, you know, float side to side and all that stuff while you shoot. But right now, you need to just be a fundamental and shoot the ball fundamental.
One thing I will say about Reed, though, I mean, if they overcrowd him on the 3-point line, he did show in that last game, and he did show it last year also, that if you come out here and run out at me, I'm gonna blow past you. Now that's a part of the game that we knew. It's like Fred probably took somebody off the dribble maybe one time last year, by the way,
Right.
perhaps at most. And you watched the game just like I did. Fred probably blew past somebody one time at most last year for a layup.
Hey,
That's not his game. Fred was not like, I mean, we wasn't really good on the fast break unless it was Jalen and the men running it or not. I mean, that's something that Fred really didn't bring. But you talking about getting into your sets and getting everybody settled down. Man, look, all right. Those are Fred's intangibles and the leadership and the veteran, like being a veteran, that's what he brings to the table. But when we just broke it down and just looked at it, all right, you can get us in our sets and you can, but when it came down to the game time and playing, yes, Fred will make some big shots and I will give that to him.
That's
He
true.
did make some big shots, but I'm not. I never was a type just be tripping on it. It was a loss, but I'm like, bruh, I mean, you can listen to national people how they talk about it. Oh, it's a big loss or whatever. But I sat there and watched 82 games last year.
Yeah.
So if I watched all the games and I see how Fred was really playing but the thing is, it was kind of like, well, when Fred went out, we did take that 6 game losing streak, man. It was just like, ah. So it meant a lot more last year because he was that, that foundational piece or whatnot, or that rock, that solid player who can like calm us down and get us ready. Because man, ain't no way we was supposed to lose to the Brooklyn next 2 times like that, man. It
No.
wasn't no way. It
No.
was. I mean, it's not like we was gonna be first place, but I mean, it wasn't no way we were supposed to lose those games, man, and drop those games, bro. It wasn't no way.
Nah.
So,
We don't supposed to do that.
but the number one thing that I'm looking forward to, and I do want to see this. That's why I don't want KD to play. I want him to miss one of these other 2 games because I need to see before we go into the season how we handle things like with LP being like a point forward or whatnot, right? I
Yeah.
want to see how Reed and the men handle getting the team into their sets and doing different things like that. So perhaps you said the Pelicans, then the Hawks. Man, I wish we had like a gap game. I mean, like a game. I wish we played the Hawks again first, and then we can see, you know, the full roster, the starting lineup go out there and play in the last game or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to see it against team we played already, unless they go out there and mop the floor with Atlanta the last game or whatnot, because we're gonna be a better team than them.
Oh yeah. Easy.
But it's up to the coaching staff, man. It's up to Ime. I mean, I'm really. I mean, I think it's cap about us saying like Reed not gonna start, but but I don't think Reed gonna lose that starting job in the preseason.
Yeah. Now I mean, salute to you, KOD. My boy King popped up in the chat. Know that boy headed to the gig. You know what I'm talking about. Salute to you, boy. Nah, I'm gonna tell you. Look, I'm this my stat. If JD Davidson throw an alley oop tonight, I think that makes him one alley oop away from how many alleys Fred VanVleet threw in his whole career as a Houston Rocket.
Say that one more time.
If JD Davidson throw an alley oop tonight, he
Uh
will be
huh.
one alley oop away from matching Fred VanVleet's total alley oop
Yeah,
total
man.
as a Rocket.
Yeah, you right. You right. And you know what, man? One thing I don't want to do, man, is I don't want to like now what you just said, we not shitting on Fred, but we did see Fred play, and Fred was a common influence on the team. He got the team in their sets, and he did a lot of good for this team. He played defense. He wasn't a turnover machine, but when we needed Fred not gonna Fred not gonna break nobody down. First of all, on offense, he's not gonna do that. I mean, Fred is basically that same player who came onto the scene when he was hitting those big shots for Toronto to win that championship a few years ago. So, I mean, that's what kind of player Fred is. I mean, he's calm. He's a professional. He'll make big shots for you. But like during the course of the game, I be looking at Fred like Fred, you bricking a whole lot, bro. I mean, you know what the splits were? They wasn't very good. So when I hear the national people saying like it's a big loss, I don't see it, fam. I don't see it. Like basically me, I would rather get these young guys ready to go. I get them ready to go, and I'm not gonna say it's a blessing in disguise losing Fred, but I mean, what he was gonna do? He would have
No,
got a lot of open shots this year, and I think Fred can knock down wide open shots. He can do that. And he did do that for a majority, but he's not running a fast break. He's not breaking anybody down. I mean, he's not saving you at the end of the shot clock. I mean, it just and then with his size, he was kind of limited against big guards. Thankfully, we had a man Thompson or whatever, right?
right. Right. No, I mean, look. This for real. This 100%. I ain't knocking Fred VanVleet at all because, like I said, in way back before the season was even over, the year we got him, I was saying, man, we can get Fred VanVleet, we'll be a whole lot better. And when it came down to people saying we should get James Harden, I was like, nah, I rather have Fred VanVleet. I've always been a Fred VanVleet fan. I cut for Fred. You know what I mean? I ain't knocking him. The he shot bad last year. I didn't care about him shooting bad. My only my only my only complaint about Fred, if you notice, my only complaint about Fred has been one thing. He don't throw alleys. I mean, that's something I didn't even pick up. My homeboy Ghost or that boy Space Ghost
Uh,
pointed
uh,
that out to me.
all
And
right, so here we go. Here we go. All right. So if you watch the games, then we already saw it. So I mean, I already read the comment or whatever, right? But if you see King, if you see it and you watch it just like all of us watched it, man, we had a whole season to see it. And I said earlier, we needed him so much to where we went on a 6 game losing streak without him, right?
right,
So look, I didn't undervalue the importance of Fred. I didn't. He was very important for the team last year. This
yeah,
is a new team this year, man.
it's a new team.
This is a
Hey,
this is a new team.
I got one for you, and I think King gonna support this. Okay, so earlier I read the report about the girl who whatever her name was. She did the interview against with KD, and every time she
Hey,
interviewed
Adam.
KD, she always asked him about is he recruiting Russell Westbrook. Did you see the interview?
I saw the interview.
Okay, so now here's the thing. KD said the good stuff about Russell Westbrook. I'm with, like I said, I don't feel like we need Russell Westbrook as a point guard, but I feel like Houston as a team, and this was my premise. My premise was the way Houston brought Drexler to Houston. Drexler was a better shooting guard when he was in Portland, but we brought him to Houston and made his legacy better by pairing him with Elijah. If the Rockets could have that kind of impact on Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant's legacy by pairing them back up together, getting a championship here in Houston, are you for that? Now, that's part A of the question. If we get him for a cheap price, are you for bringing in Russell Westbrook? The catalyst to this question is if it comes down to a point to where with the catastrophe that's going on in LA, if it came to a point to where we already had Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant and it was playing well together, and it came down to trade deadline or before trade deadline or whatever, and it came an opportunity for us to get James Harden, would you bring in James Harden to pair
Man,
with
nah, man,
Westbrook?
we doing too much now, man.
I'm just
We
asking you a
we,
question.
we do it. Hey, we doing too much now, man. We doing far too much, man. I think that
You
we
wouldn't trade, you wouldn't trade Fred VanVleet for James Harden. Fred VanVleet, Jay Sean Tate, and a second round draft pick for
I
James
mean,
Harden.
if you asking me that right now, then I would say probably yes. If you're asking me that now, but we not. But if you're asking me that right now, then I would say I guess so. But the Kings not ready to throw away that they season right now, man. They still trying to ball and try to see what they can do with the players they have. So I mean, this is a conversation that probably need to be had like in February around the trade deadline or whatnot. But would I like to see Harden on this team right now if they could do it? Probably not, man, because even though he probably like the second, third best Rocket of all time, I'm gonna say second of all time. Um,
I already
man,
cooked you from hey,
man,
I already I
I
already
mean,
cooked you from
he's not Ime Udoka kind of player, bro. I mean, he played defense when he won. He like Randy Moss, man. I play when I feel like it. I mean, that's not an Ime type of guy, man. And one thing I wouldn't want to do it right now. I want to see what these Bulls got right now, man. I mean, we got LP, we got Amin, we got Jabbar. I don't want to take shots from those guys right now. I
yeah.
really don't want to take shots or they shine away. Not right now.
I'm gonna
Not
tell you
right now.
I'm gonna tell you why I would I'm not saying this is something that I'm just fantasizing about it. But when I thought about it, like I said, to have the storyline that it would be to have Russell Westbrook and James Harden making a playoff push and going up against Oklahoma City in the Western Conference Finals would be phenomenal for the history of basketball. It's more along those lines to me. And then when you break down the dynamics of the play style with James Harden and Clint Capella on the floor together again with the chemistry they had with that lob, bro, it
You
would
see,
be
you know what? Now I see why Jada all be getting on you, man. Check this out, man. Check this out here. Listen, man. We not finna roll around like the Fab Five in the early '90s, bro. Reuniting the early OKC Thunder back in Houston, bro. Nah, man. That's in the past, man. I know how you feel like for nostalgia's sake or whatnot, because I remember in 2012 when they went against the Lakers. I mean
my
against LeBron in Miami. I
right.
was in Miami doing those finals or whatnot, right? Man, bro, listen, no. Man, we not trying to revive that, man. We got too much youth on this team and too much talent. I mean, no, I'm come on, man. If look, man, I understand that this is not fantasy basketball where you can just pick players up and just do all this kind of crazy stuff, man. Look, man, we got to see what we got first.
Yeah, I agree.
We got to I mean, we got LP, which is a top 5 center. We got a man Thompson, where everybody praises as being like the next one up, or the next man up, the next one, the next phenom in the league or whatnot. We have Katie. I mean, bro, I think we
Going,
good to start the season. Let's
keep
not
going.
try to, man, we got to see these boys go out there and play before we start tinkering and doing different stuff, man. Would E may want the 35, 36, 37-year-old players on this team right now and giving up assets and talent? No, I'm not.
He,
I'm not going for that.
he got them
No,
all.
I'm not.
Okay, now first of all, let me say this. I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. I definitely feel like we can win with the team we got. I feel like we're gonna win the championship anyway. I feel like we're gonna win. I feel like we can win it. I don't feel like I don't. I can't say that I'm sure that we are. I feel like I'm about 40% that we're gonna win anyway. Okay. Now, with that being said, the only reason I'm bringing it up is because we looking at it's already trade talks in the way. We already hearing the Giannis Antetokounmpo trade. They're already talking about Kevin Durant recruiting Russell Westbrook, which is cool to recruit Russell Westbrook and bang him off the bench. But I think if you get Russell Westbrook and then they start saying, is he the best possibility to start? He is an all-time great passer, you know. So now you
You
talk,
know what?
huh?
Well, one thing I would say is this: all that talk, it can't happen till after January, right? So, I mean, but we'll have a full sample size of if we need a Russ by then. I mean, we'll be like 40%. No, remember January. We're talking about it's not gonna be half, but we talking about 35% of the season, like I just done before January 6th or whatnot, right? So, I mean, no. If after 35 games or so, if we see that Reed can't cut it and the amend project is not working, then we can visit that then. But as far as like now, no, I want to see what these young guys got, man. And we gonna have enough games to see if it's gonna happen.
Facts.
I think the Rockets will allow Reed Shepard to actually fail because because really, I mean, if he fails, I mean, if he, the thing is, if he thrives, it's gonna be still hard. I mean, just say if he goes out and is like McConnell, right? Or he
Mhm.
goes out. I mean, I don't want to compare him to another white guy. I mean, I hate I hate to do that, man. So I don't want to do that. But just say if he actually goes out there and thrives,
Yeah. I
then
mean,
we're not gonna worry about West or about Russ. But the thing is, what if he goes out there and he shows that he can really ball? We probably not gonna be able to resign his ass anyway if he goes out there and just balls out.
no.
So
Now listen, listen. The thing is that that's the problem. Is that when a white guy can really ball, it's a rare, it's a precious thing in the NBA because you don't find them that can really just hoop like that. Like you don't find white boys like this a guaranteed starter. It's not really those guys out there. That's why Larry Markkinen is like an anomaly, and it's like he rotting away his career because he's shown that he can do certain things at a high level, and he's been always on horrible teams, you know, throughout his whole career. And now he almost at the end of his shit where he hurt all the time, and he finna be out the league, and he's still a good baller. Now Reed Shepard, if he let me see, if Reed Shepard shows that he can actually hoop, and this is my takeaway. It has to be, and this why I'm saying these preseason games matter, bro. You weren't on here earlier when I looked at his stats. It was in the preseason last year that he started to have the confidence issues. Because remember, the summer league was good for Reed Shepard. Him and Cam Whitmore was balling out of control in the summer league. It wasn't until he came into the preseason and started having misfires and started shooting 0 for 4, 0 for 5, 0 for 3, 1 for 4. That's when his confidence went down. And that shit carried all the way until he got back from the G League. It wasn't until he went to the G League and scored 49 and then came back to where he got his confidence back. So
And you know what? That game we played against OKC, man, he played well. But you know what though? It's like, damn, we didn't get to see it. We saw a little taste of it, but he got hurt.
got hurt.
And he was out for the rest of the season or whatever, right? So, I mean, that's one thing. That's why I think the Rockets are gonna give him his chance or whatnot. And we talk about J.D. Davison or whatnot. I mean, Reed clearly showed that he was probably too good for the G League or whatnot, right? And even though Boston they were like full of like players and talent or whatnot, they went to they were supposed to be going to the finals or whatnot, except for an injury or whatnot, an Achilles tear or whatnot on Jason Tatum. So he didn't have a chance to like crack their roster, and then they wanted to start cutting salaries and all that kind of stuff. But JD can ball, bro. So that's one thing. Like I told you earlier, I'm looking forward to seeing like in this game that starts in 24 minutes. That's one thing I'm looking forward to see. I want to see Reed show up, but I'm not necessarily like, I mean, and the Rockets are gonna let him shine or try to let him shine the most they can. But that dude looked like he can ball, bro. I know he was like a second round draft pick, but we got some examples of
Yeah.
second round draft picks doing their thing in the NBA.
Well, Gilbert Arenas. Wasn't Gilbert Arenas second round draft pick?
Yes, he was Nikola Jokic.
Yeah.
And I
Hey,
don't even have to go, and we don't even have to go to the best one because those are like the top two, like some of the top two second round draft picks. I don't even need that from JD. If JD can be a better version of Fred VanVleet, I mean, what Reed has to show is that he's better than that.
Hold on right quick. Shout out Rockets propaganda. I don't know if this Rockets propaganda right here, but we got my boy AK Infinity pulling up, man. AK, tell us what you got on the game, man. How you feel like we're gonna fare tonight? Do you feel like it's important for the Rockets to have a good game tonight, or do you feel like the preseason is overblown and it really don't matter?
Hold on, it's me. I ain't hear that for. It's me.
It's on you.
Yeah. Shout out to y'all, by the way. Yeah, man. I mean, it's preseason, man. What I'm looking for really is just we got to see some signs of a different process than we had before. I think the whole preseason needs to be about establishing some kind of offensive flow without Fred and something that's sustainable. If it got to start off a little slow and then we build it up later on, cool. But the biggest thing is establishing Reed and the men and KD and Şengün and see how they, share the playmaking responsibilities in the half court. That's the biggest thing for me. However they get it done is how they get it done. Hell, I'm gonna even throw in J.D. Davison in there because bro got some buzz right now, and he's gonna create some problems for the fan base.
Hey, that's what Larry was just talking about. Even he had even mentioned as far as Reed Shepard having to look over his shoulder.
Yeah.
If JD have another game like he had, if they swap in places, if JD playing hella good and Reed Shepard not playing hella good, do you think it's a point to where if they decide, hey, look, Ahmed is not really the best choice to be the point guard. We rather have Ahmed at the 2, and it comes down to a choice between Reed Shepard and J.D. Davison. And do you think they can lean J.D. Davison, or do you think it's just politics to where they want they won't lean that way. They wouldn't let JD Davidson start over Reed.
It's gonna be politics, bro. But if it comes to a point where like Reed Shepard is just buns, I'm talking toasted buns.
Okay.
If he just like bad, bro, all right, I can understand. But even if he's like bad, like he got to be detrimental. He got to be on like some Westbrook ish with LA.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He got to be that bad, bro.
He ain't that bad, bro. He ain't that
If he's not that bad, he gonna get every chance to. Well, he should get every chance to fail because he knows now that's a dude nipping at your heels.
Right.
You better act right when you get on that court. That's the good thing about having competition, bro.
Yeah. Nah, 100% about that. Now I agree with that, man. I think JD Davidson, he have been he's been the hot topic around the Rocket stratosphere, man. Every time you put on the Rockets, anything about the Rockets, JD Davidson ain't popping up. And that got to be something because nobody really talking about how good Amin Thompson looked. Nobody really talking about how Jabari looked like he was playing, really good basketball yesterday. They're only talking about Alfred Şengün in context of he looked like we expect him to look. But everybody was talking about JD Davidson. Oh, he came off a team with Jason Tatum and Derek Holiday.
And that's the one thing I would add in right there. He didn't have a spot to go to. That's why he was able to win the G League MVP or whatnot last year because they didn't have space in one of the deepest rosters or whatever in the league. And it was a good roster. Man, they want to go put him down for guys knocking down the three and doing things like that. I mean, like the Celtics was set last year, bro. So that's why he was down there, man. They were set. So he didn't have a spot. And then this year they had to kind of let him go because without Tatum, they weren't going to be trying to pay luxury tax money, bro.
Yeah.
So he didn't have a spot to go to. So I mean, the Rockets swooped in there and they picked him up. So he's good. That's a good basketball player, man. He was good in college. Yeah. So the thing is, man, if you look at JD and you look up Maine, whatever that team was they had, like with Maine or whatnot, you look up his highlights, man, that dude can ball, bro. Real talk.
I think
he can ball.
I think part of the problem too is you got to remember, man, point guard is like the deepest position in the league, bro. Like you got to have a point guard. Everybody got a point guard. Some teams got two of them. So it's I guess, with Fred going down, that's when he got his opportunity. But we're going to see, like, is the Rockets going to do right by him? You know what I'm saying? If he earns it, obviously. And is it going to be a situation where we see Aaron Holiday playing above JD Davidson? Like, we can't have that.
Yeah, you're right about that, man. JD, man, I saw it the other day. JD and Aaron Holiday are not the same kind of player. I mean, but we'll see that go coming along or whatnot. But I don't think they're not on even on the same kind of time or whatnot. But we actually don't know what JD would look like, playing like full-time point guard on a team like this. It's not like he was out there just dropping dimes, leading fast breaks, and doing things like that. He hit some nice. He was knocking it down from the 3-point line.
Yeah, man. Like I said, man, I just think it's gonna be a situation where maybe he gets an opportunity, maybe somebody get nicked up, and then he perform, and then it's kind of hard to put him back on the bench. You know what I'm saying? I hope that's the case for him. Obviously, I don't hope nobody get hurt, but if he finds his way in a rotation, it's gonna be a situation where it's gonna be hard to take him out. So we're gonna start asking questions like, who minutes gonna get ate up?
Hey, yeah, you want to read that comment by King? You want to read that comment? Because I'm personally, King, I'm not getting ahead of myself, bro. But what I'm saying is that dude was an MVP of the G League. He can play, and it's like Ime is known for, bruh, like what's his name? AK. Look, Ime is known for you can lose your spot if you get hurt because we saw it last year. We not
Barry dirty. He did Barry dirty, man.
Dirty, man. because Barr wasn't even shooting good up until that point. See, this is the revisionist history I be talking
He
about.
actually was shooting good at that point.
I mean, he had a whole stretch of games, bro, where everybody was saying, "Man, Barr got to step up. Barr missed a shot. Barr not shooting." He was shooting like 30-some%, low 30s, and he had just
let's
started
pull up the numbers, bro. I ain't gonna say. I ain't got too much
pull
to
them
say
up.
about it.
Pull them up. I mean, I can,
I know he started the season a little bit slow, but he started to pick it up. So
yeah. He started off kind of slow, and then but now he go
But he was picking it up. He was playing really good at the time he got hurt.
right. He gonna come. King said, "Knock it out one preseason game." Now, JD Davidson, the future PG of Houston. Come on, fellas.
No. We're not saying that. I'm just saying,
not
like,
saying that.
you just gotta think about it. Like, we've seen these kind of stories happen before, man. Look at Fred VanVleet. Why look for? We've seen this happen before. We got to be realistic about what to expect. Out of all the people who we brought in training camp, JD Davidson probably the only person with a legit chance to make the squad. And he got a legit chance. You could see him in the rotation, bro. Like, we really weak at point guard right now. Let's just keep it a beam. So we got to consider the whole story, not just a piece of
it. Hey, here's the thing: if Reed Shepard would have went to the G League for an extended period of time, he probably would have been an MVP too. And he probably could have been an MVP of the G League because he was
balling.
And that's my problem. My problem I have is, it's the preseason. It's the preseason. But to me, this is like it's tryouts. It's tryouts. It's preseason for some people. For like KD, it's preseason. But for Reed Shepard and JD Davidson, it's tryouts. You need to be on your I'm hungry. You need to be on your I'm hungry. I'm trying to eat shit. This ain't like, oh, it's just preseason. It don't matter. It don't count. No, nigga, you trying to get you a job. You trying to keep your job. You can't get outplayed.
And you know what? He ain't had nothing handed to him either. If he does it, he's going about it the hard way. And you know who went about it the hard way? A guy like I'm not comparing the two players, right? But the New York Knicks point guard,
Jalen Brunson.
He was a second rounder too. Yeah.
He went through it the hard way. I mean, they didn't even want to re-sign him or whatnot. But now he in New York, old Jalen Brunson, and doing his thing, bro. So I'm telling you, man, it's some talent in those later rounds with those later picks or whatnot. People didn't see him as such, as far as like size and things like that, you do with things or whatever. But I'm too good for this.
Opportunities, bro.
You say what?
Opportunities. Some guys just got to get the opportunity. That's it.
Yeah, so Reed gonna be handed everything on the platter, right? I mean, because the Rockets gonna do everything to say, Reed, this. If Fred got hurt, I mean, that's Fred business, like you said or whatnot. Hey, they gonna hand it to you on the platter, and I want that boy to come out there and do it. I really do.
As they should. You should give him every chance to fail, and when if he actually fails, he earned that failure, bro. You got to earn that F. They ain't try to curb your grades. They didn't try to give you extra credit, all of that, and you still got an F. All right, you just on to the next. But that's what it's gonna come down to. But y'all got to remember too, Ime Udoka love him some undrafted players, bro.
He do. And he love big guards.
He does.
He love big guards.
Hey, you know what else he loved? He loved top 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 draft picks too, because he was in love with goddamn Jaylen Brown too. So he loved players that go out there and ball and put their heart out there. I think he loves Jabari Smith Jr. Man, Jabari don't
think so.
Ain't about nothing, bro.
I would think he liked Jabari, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I think
you said what?
I don't think he liked Jabari. I think he liked that he don't complain, but he hasn't necessarily done Jabari any favors.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you like this here. Like I said, I've been saying this, and I hate to bring it up again, but the closest thing he could get to Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown is Tari and Ahmed. If right there, man, if Tari and Ahmed can both stay healthy, that's that Boston Celtic type shit right there with them two guys, and everybody want to put one over the other. Everybody, Ahmed better than Tari.
He is.
But
I mean, he is. I mean, by the way, he is. It's not even a debate.
Everybody
a-
ain't even up for debate, bro.
Okay, but Jason Tatum is better than Jaylen Brown.
Okay.
But when playoff time comes, people be saying Jaylen Brown better than Jason Tatum.
That's cool.
See what I'm saying?
And that's something, but that's okay. I don't see no problem with that.
Right. And my point is they so close to how good they are. They so close. It don't matter whether 1A and 1B, they both so close to how they play. And they
Man, you better man, if you better stop all this talk. Man, look, now Tari is a good player,
man.
but he's more like a junkyard dog, scrappy kind of player or whatnot, right? I mean, it's not like we gonna be as a Rockets team, we gonna be running plays for Tari Eason.
Bro,
It's not like we gonna be doing that.
all he asked for was one play, bro. He just asked for one play.
All right, look, tonight I want you to watch the game. We 10 minutes away. Tonight I want you to watch the game. And when he gets that opportunity, because the Rockets just throw it in his face, especially having the general manager that came up under Daryl Morey or whatnot, right? Rafael Stone, I mean, he might put that call down there in email. Hey, man, see if he can shine. So when that second quarter comes around and he out there with nothing, I mean, I would put him out there with nothing. I put him out there with all the backups, with everything else, just to shut his ass up. And all right, here we go.
You gonna do it like they did Shedeur Sanders. That's what you said.
I would give him no. See, there you go.
He said,
you reaching like a motherfucker.
No, that's what you just said. You said you're gonna Shedeur Sanders him.
All right. What I would do is I would put him out there with Steven Adams. I put him out there with JD. I put him out there with you're gonna get more than just one play a half. Man, we gonna give you about 8 plays this half, and we gonna see what you can do. I mean, because you know what? I don't think they'll do him dirty like Golden State did Jonathan Kuminga or whatnot. But it's just like if you want to go out here and start chirping, all right, bro. Put him out there and run like 5 plays in one quarter and see what he can do.
That ain't his game, though, bro.
Man, I know it's not. But you know what? The Rockets should do that so he can just shut the fuck up.
But listen,
come on, dog.
That's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is them two together can be a dominant duo, bro. They can be a dominant duo because
on defense, yeah. Offensively, I don't know about that.
Because okay. Just a reminder, because we finna get ready to shut it down. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna let y'all close out. Look, 26 minutes. Ahmed scored 11 points. He had what was it? Three assists. He had 5 turnovers. He had how many rebounds was it? King put it in the chat. I think Ahmed had 3 rebounds. No, 1 rebound. He had 1 rebound, 3 assists.
No, he actually had 2 rebounds, but ESPN was janky. I guess they in the preseason mode too or whatnot, man. They probably got the interns running that ESPN final scoreboard. They changed that about 15 times during the game, right? Man, they probably had interns in there running that scoreboard and all that kind of stuff for that first game. So
and in 11 minutes, Tari had better stats than Ahmed. But I mean, not to say that Tari played better, but I'm just saying that if Tari plays with Ahmed and they both putting up equal stats, just double Tari's minutes to 20 minutes a game, 30 minutes a game. And then you can say if he's, if they playing together and Tari can average 17, Ahmed can average 17, Tari gonna get you 11, 12 rebounds, Ahmed gonna get you 5 or 6 rebounds, 6 or 7 assists. Tari might only get you 2 assists. They both gonna get you a steal and a block a piece. Maybe 2 steals and a block a piece. It's just a good pairing. It's just a good pairing to have on the court together.
I see what you mean. I mean, they definitely got good chemistry together. I just think here's one problem. One of the problems is I'm not sure Amen Thompson is quite the facilitator, like primary facilitator, to be able to say, hey, here's Tari, y'all go run this thing. And Tari is not necessarily the offensive player where you can be like, hey, Tari, here's the ball, go make something happen. Tari is more, like you say, more junkyard dog type of guy. What I think makes sense is what you have around them, because defensively, when them two are on the court together, it's crazy. So in a perfect world, to me, man, this season I'd probably start Amen and Tari with Jabari, KD, and Shingun. I think that's a good balance. You got defense everywhere. You got length. You got a little bit of athleticism. You got enough shooting. I think you got playmaking.
Hold on. I got to
What?
stop you on that one, fam.
What's
Where's
up?
the shooting at with that lineup, man?
I think Jabari and KD and Tari's not a bad shooter. I think Tari, you leave him open, he'll make a shot. So I think them three is good enough. I know you got two non-shooters in Shingun and Amen Thompson, but I think they smart enough to know, their spots on the floor where they're not taking stupid shots.
Oh man. Hey, well look, I'm gonna shut it down. Give me y'all predictions for the game. Tell me what y'all think. Tell me how y'all think it's gonna go tonight. What y'all looking for?
You know what? I go first, and I go ahead and drop out. Hey, look, check this out. What I'm looking for, the only thing I'm looking for is the first half, and what I'm really looking for are the minutes where KD and LP are on the floor, because that's what I want to see most or whatnot. How they play off each other, and I want to see how many open slashing buckets Amen Thompson can actually get with the gravity of having Kevin Durant on the actual floor or whatnot. Because I think Amen is set to have like a great season. So that's what I'm looking for, seeing like those three players on the court at the same time. That's the number one thing I'm looking forward to in this game. Hey, good stream, bro. Good stream, bro.
Laro made a good point. Hey man, appreciate you popping up on me, Laro, man. You know what I'm saying? You know how we gonna do it. I'm probably gonna pull up and do a little recap tomorrow, man. Pull back up and chop it up with me, man. Appreciate you popping up. AK, man. Hey man, look, AK Infinity.
What's going
Man,
on?
we ain't chopping up. It's been about 2 years, bro, since we did
It's
chop
been
it
a
up.
minute. Yeah, it's been a minute.
CSG back in the CSG days, man. I'm glad you pulled up on me, man. I'm glad you found me, Brody.
For sure.
What's your predictions on the game, man? And tell me what you're gonna be looking for.
Well, hopefully the Rockets put belt to ass on the Utah Jazz, because we don't like no Jazz over here, bro.
Facts.
Prediction, I think starters probably gonna play the first half like they did last game, but what I'm looking forward to seeing is I want to see how Amen Thompson grows, especially playing with KD. I want to see what that looks like. I want to see how Reed Shepherd progresses too, because like I said, man, my biggest thing this season is Amen Thompson and Reed Shepherd. Their whole goal this whole season is to make Fred VanVleet less important. Not that Fred is not important, but to make Fred less important. We ain't got to run everything through Fred as much as we used to. Good Lord. Because you see there's a very low ceiling on that. It's a high floor, but the ceiling is where the floor at. You know what I'm saying? So the ceiling and the floor don't need to match. That's not good.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what I'm looking forward to seeing this game. I don't really worry too much about the rest of the guys. I mean, they gonna get it how they get it. Barry gonna do what he do. Tari and them gonna do what they do. Shingun gonna do what he do. I want to see a little bit more JD Davison too, though. I really want him to come on strong. I want him to be a good player for this team, because if he's a good player for this team, we better off for it.
Facts. Oh man, again, man, appreciate you chopping it up with me, man. Hey, we're gonna keep it, man. We're gonna keep it lit, man. Look, I'm probably gonna do a recap tomorrow. Pull up on me. Stay tapped in. Stay on high alert. You've been warned. This is Red Alert. I'm your host of your hood, man. I'm signing off. Peace.
Already.